this heaven?
No. It's Iowa.
You know, we all sitting here, you and I, like a couple of regular fellas. You do what you do, and I do what I gotta do. And now that we've been face to face, if I'm there, and I gotta put you away, I won't like it. But I'll tell you, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
Yeah, but there's a flip side of that coin. What if you do got me boxed in and I got to put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. We've been here face to face, yeah, but I will not hesitate. Not for a second. We're talking Heat on the Pod of Dreams.
Moves on the street, have no attachments, allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner.
In the city of Los Angeles.
Recognize the MO? MO is that they're good. If you think these guys are scoring once and passing through, I doubt it.
A relentless police detective is on the trail.
What do we got?
Of a master thief.
You're fugitive number one with a bullet. It's double the risk here.
You're wrong. It's 4 times the risk, and I'm double the worst trouble you ever had.
Clear!
And his reckless partner.
The bank is worth the risk. We should take it down.
I want full surveillance, 24 hours, round the clock. We never close, open 7 days a week.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
Bam, bye-bye.
They get more daring with every score.
What's the estimate?
12.2 million.
You're on.
But one cop
He's here. I can feel it.
is closing in.
Whatever score they're gonna take next, they're gonna have the surprise of a lifetime.
Now, for the first time, Academy Award winner Al Pacino and Academy Award winner Robert De Niro collide.
If I'm there and I gotta put you away, I'll tell you, you are going down.
What if you do got me boxed in, and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. I will not hesitate for a second.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer in a Michael Mann film. Heat.
All right, welcome everybody to the Pod of Dreams. If you listen, we will pod. We're talking Heat this week on the pod. We're doing favorite movies of all time. This was my number 5 pick. Favorite movies, again, not to be confused with greatest movies. I'm not saying Heat's the top 5 greatest movies of all time, but it is definitely number 5 on my favorite movie list. Ben,
you love.
It's a movie I love immensely.
So it's not a movie I love immensely, but I want you to talk about why you love it and about each of our favorite movies. I know you know me, we know each other well. We don't necessarily have the same style. That's okay. Opposites attract. I want to tread lightly here because it's a movie that doesn't mean nearly as much to me as it means to you. I think it's very, very good. I don't think it sucks. But I don't have the romantic, this movie speaks to me, I connect with it, it entertains me, bliss that you get when watching it. So I'm going to tread as lightly as possible because I don't want to shit on something you like at all. And I know anything and this movie a lot of people love, by the way. You're not unique. A lot of people love this movie and think it's one of the best movies of all time. Anything that's not extreme adoration can feel like criticism. So I'm going to tread as lightly as possible. I want you to enjoy talking about your movie. So start with why you love it, why this works for you, why it connects with you, when and how you first watched it, why you love it.
It's different every time I watch it. So this time, I think what I loved the performances the most this time around. Watching De Niro, Pacino, all the side characters. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's the greatest. This isn't the greatest achievement in filmmaking. I find it just the most entertaining thing that I could watch.
Sure, it's about you. It's about you and your taste. You get to set the stage. You don't have to worry about what other people think.
Seeing Pacino at his most charming, he's crazy in this movie, but he is so amazingly charming in this film that I can't look away when he's on screen. De Niro, I think this is maybe his last like real performance. I think having watched this and then considering like Goodfellas and Casino and some of those his more sort of legendary roles, he's a little one note in this movie, but he's still super like he's De Niro. He's super intense, and I mean he is kind of charming in a way in this movie. He's funny, like the scene where he and Amy Brennan, like when their courting scene is so ridiculous with the book about medals. Like he's like mad at her for talking to him, and then he realizes she's like flirting with him. It's so awkward, but there's something kind of charming about the way he is in this movie. But Val Kilmer is just fucking amazing. Also, the whole time he's cool. You don't like people that are cool in movies. You don't find any sort of like interest in that.
It's about you. It's not about me. So I'm gonna leave no comment.
I think Val Kilmer's amazing in this movie. I think it's one of his best. I mean, this is also the guy who played Doc Holliday. Like, I think it's one of his best performances. He's not the star of the movie at all. I mean, really, he's
very few scenes.
He's very few scenes, but he's whatever scenes he's in, he steals. The other thing too, just to summarize it all, it has two of the greatest action sequences in movie history, as far as I'm concerned. The opening sequence where they steal the armored truck, where they rob the armored truck, and then the final shootout in the street when they rob the bank. I don't think it's a better gunfight that's ever been filmed, in terms of the final scene. And then just the way that everything builds to them robbing the armored truck, just such an amazing action sequence, such that Christopher Nolan basically just stole it for The Dark Knight, just completely ripped everything off about that idea. So in that way, it's an action movie Hall of Fame for me, and I love action movies. It has two of the greatest actors we've ever had at their prime going head to head. The only time they've ever been in a movie together was Godfather, and they didn't share a scene. So this is the only time. I mean, I think they've been in other movies. They were in some like Righteous Killer, some stupid movie,
some other late term really crappy stuff.
But before that, This was the first time they were in a scene together. And then the scene where they're in the coffee shop is one of my favorite. Just two actors just putting everything at each other in one scene. So yeah, I just love it. It's super. I mean, it's a heist movie where you have the cop, you have the robber, and you have both of their stories. There's you could make the argument there's maybe too much of their personal lives, like the wife stuff with Pacino and Natalie Portman doesn't need to be there. Although having daughters that are almost that age, it's like the where's my Barrette is like, holy shit, that's like every morning at my house, So I mean, there's some realism to it, and that's the thing about it is like, it's a heist movie about a bank robbery, but it's done Michael Mann does it in such a way that there's so much more to it than that, and it's so much better than it needs to be, because there are shitty versions of this. Den of Thieves we've talked about, which I love Den of Thieves, but that is like a paint by numbers version of this movie. And this movie is just done so well. The craft, the way the sound in this movie, there's no movie that has sound like this. The gunfire, all of the effects, top tier. And Michael Mann's the fucking shit. I watched a bunch of Michael Mann movies after I watched this, like Collateral. I watched Miami Vice. I watched the original LA Takedown, which is crazy. I had never seen that before. It's literally, he just remade this movie. He remade LA Takedown as Heat. It's like there's the same dialogue. It's insane. I've never seen that before, where there's like, it's on YouTube if you want to watch, just YouTube LA Takedown. But that movie has terrible actors. Like the people doing the Vincent Hanna part and the Macaulay part, they're really bad, and it sucks because it's like these guys are not good at it. So those are the reasons why I love it. What is it about it you don't like?
No, when did you first watch this movie? Again, I
didn't see it in theater, so it came out 96,
95, right?
95.
So you were pretty young. You would have had to sneak in.
Yeah, I was 12, 13 or whatever. Didn't see it in the theater. It was the first DVD I ever owned personally, from my own money. Like
you bought it after having seen it, or you hadn't seen it yet and you bought it?
I'm sure I had seen it on TV, or we rented it at Blockbuster or something like that. Yeah.
Your brother rented it and you watched it. You're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I want to
and
buy
then
it.
it was like, I want to watch this all the time. And so I bought the DVD. And then I've subsequently bought it. I think the version I have is like the definitive director's cut or something like that. There's been multiple versions of it, but 4K with the Dolby sound, there's just nothing better.
No, you're right that coolness doesn't resonate with me as much as it does with you. You like seeing people be cool on screen, and that's one of the things you like about movies. People can look really, really cool in movies, and that's fine. People look really, really cool in this movie. That's fine. There are probably two things. They're not.
Had to get it on, man. Had to get it on.
There are two things that kind of
fucking Wayne Grove
take me out of the movie, and a little bit, and I think maybe aren't great and don't work super well. At least for me. But this is the second time I've seen the movie, and I probably didn't see it until college. And by then it was hyped as a really, really good movie, and I think I probably didn't have the right expectations going in, because it was kind of the stuff that you're describing. Really cool, really awesome, so good, referenced all the time. Referenced in like Hot Fuzz, I think they reference Heat and other stuff too. And crime movies in general don't do nearly as much for me. Like,
literally, of all the crime movies we've done on this pod, they're not your favorites.
They don't do a lot for me. I don't think crime is all that fascinating, that interesting. But anyway, there are two things. You talk about two actors at their peak. I think maybe Robert De Niro is still there, and he's about to tumble off of it. I feel like Al Pacino's already ascended to this, like, little bit of a character phase, right? I did a rough Pacino for a little opening bit, but when he's talking about, you can get killed walking your dog,
walking your doggy. Don't waste my motherfucking time.
It's insane and ludicrous, and it's
empathy was yesterday.
Silly. He's overdoing it to the point where he ceases to be a character and becomes kind of
today
a cartoon.
Wasting my motherfucking
and
time.
It's funny. I laugh.
It's hilarious.
I laugh, but it takes me out of this movie that wants to be really serious about crime. And hey, did you know that cops and criminals both have their life defined by crime in a way? It's tough for both. It took me completely out of it. Like when he's yelling at Hank Azaria and talking to Tone Loc, it's like, it's just silly to me. And so I feel like
there's a lot of cocaine, I think.
That's what. Well, see, I saw that take that he's actually a cocaine addict.
Yeah.
Which is the only way you can put that in the context of the movie and have it actually make sense. If he's not a cokehead, there's no reason for any of his insane choices. Those are just crazy. But the movie does not make it explicit at all that he's like taking coke. There might be little subtle signs that if you've seen it 8 times you can see. But I was like, how do I know that he's doing coke? Where's my evidence that he's doing cocaine? I mean, it makes sense. It makes his yelling plausible, but other than that, I don't know. I mean,
we don't see him in the movie actually like snort coke.
No, it's just it's like, okay, he's acting crazy. Why would he act crazy? Because he's just snorting like.
Well, I also think so. Caveat: I just finished the book Heat 2, which is both a prequel and sequel to the movie, and you get a lot more of Vincent Hanna, you get a lot more Neil McCauley, their background, what their lives are. In the book, he's supposed to be this sort of like, not necessarily like coke fiend, but he's like a speed junkie, like drives his car fast. He's just like one of those guys that's just like always at 1,000 miles an hour and lives his life that way. So
his life in quarter mile of time.
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I think it's all just, like I said, the crazy thing about LA Takedown, so Michael Mann made this in the 80s as a TV movie and was a pilot trying to get a show before Miami Vice. It is the same script. It has the same sequences, the same dialogue. Like watching another guy do this same dialogue without the Pacino craziness is wild. Because the actor that plays Vincent Hanna in LA Takedown is not this like, shut up, great ass. Like he's not doing that in the movie. He's playing just like a straight ass cop.
Well, I mean, think about what Pacino.
So it's all of a Pacino choice. He's
already done Scent of a Woman. He did that.
Won an Oscar.
And it's pretty crazy. He's already got to
yeah. That's the same guy from that's the same Godfather. Like,
and that was
same actor.
And he's got Devil's Advocate coming up. He's reaching this point where he's just like kind of crazy, overacting, being goofy.
Because he's doing a lot of cocaine at this time, I think, is
Al Pacino, the man.
the person, Al Pacino, yes.
Which to me suggests he's not at his peak, or the drugs have taken him off his peak.
Well, when you think of Al Pacino, what do you think of?
I think of the Godfather movies. I mean, I think of his...
You think of his low-key Corleone, Michael Corleone
those
sitting
are the ones
there.
I most remember. I mean, those are the imprints I had growing up, but since I've seen these better movies from the 70s, I mean, Godfather 1 and 2 are movies where I can't not think of Al Pacino. And there's more. Scarface.
Scarface, he's like
it
insane
makes
in that
sense
movie.
in Scarface because he's playing a crazy drug addict, drug dealer.
But like Carlito's Way, all of his, I mean, you think
Carlito's Way is way more nuanced than this, right?
It
That's more
is,
subtle.
sure. Yeah.
So like
he's not at 11, but any given Sunday, he's this times 10.
Sure, it's gonna get worse, and then he's gonna just do the I'm gonna do a movie
because it worked well in Heat, and he's like, all right, people like that, I'll just do that.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it works for the narrative.
I think it works great. I love it.
It's
I wouldn't change a
entertaining.
thing. Wouldn't change a thing.
I know you wouldn't, and it's fine. You love it. This is about, but you love the movie. It's not about. But that's one thing that took me out of it. Like I'm seeing a serious movie, and I'm supposed to think seriously about crime and criminality and this complex relationship between cops and robbers. And then, you're just yelling.
Too busy chasing guys like you around the block.
Yeah. But the other thing is, so this big thing, right? Big thing of Robert De Niro's character. What is it? 30 seconds. You shouldn't attach yourself to anything, but you can't say when you feel that heat coming around the corner and you can't get rid of him. 30 seconds are left, right? So he has that ridiculous relationship with the shopkeeper, which did not work for me at all. I didn't believe it. I didn't buy it. I think, okay, I'm supposed to be convinced that he meets her. He falls in a meaningful love with her after we got 2 or 3 scenes together. I'm not convinced. I don't think for a second he would hesitate, right? Like, it's supposed to be a big moment when he steps away. Like Caesar.
At the party.
At the very end, right? He killed Waingro.
Yeah, he decides.
And he got out of the car.
Yeah.
He sees her, then he sees Al Pacino, and he's like, oh. And he leaves. And it's supposed to be dramatic, but of course he'd leave. I didn't think for a second he would stay with this woman he barely knows.
Well, I think he was doing that for her. I think that's what you're supposed to believe.
Like he was pretending like he was torn just for her mental.
No. He left. If he stayed with her, she would have been in danger.
Okay.
If he runs away.
So he's doing it but selflessly this time.
Yes.
See, that still doesn't work for me because I don't think he cares about her. I guess I looked at it and thought, of course he'd ditch her. Why would he care? No, I suppose that makes more sense.
The part I don't like that he goes back for Waingro. That always frustrates me because that is against his entire code. I mean, yes, he's got to get revenge because of what happened, but just leave. Just you're home free, and you turn back to get revenge. What's up with that?
Well, I mean, the guy ruined lives for people he cares about, right? So, I mean, Tom Sizemore's dead.
Yeah, but he has a bag of money. You got got his woman.
Isn't this ironic that he's actually attached to these other criminals? Isn't that part of the irony? Is that he has emotional attachment to these people? He should have been emotional. But he actually cared. And Val Kilmer can't see his wife and kid again, or it's going to be a lot more difficult, right? I mean, he's going to make.
That's what the book is about. It's mostly about that.
So he was attached to them and cared, and he's pissed off, and he wouldn't go back. I also didn't really. I get that there were cops close by when you were going to shoot Rainbow, but, did you really take your eyes off him? It didn't seem like a guy would take his eye. He's got a gun pointed down you
mean in the beginning when they go to execute him? Yeah.
Because that's a big...
same exact scene in LA Takedown. Exact same thing.
It set the plot in motion, and it causes all this cascade effect. But those are the things that I didn't love. I didn't think were super necessary. We didn't need the Waingro as a serial killer subplot.
Well, see,
that doesn't matter.
That's the other part of this movie. It's all of Michael Mann's tricks, right? It's got everything that he's done up until this point. It's like sort of his magnum opus, where he's like, I've done thief. I want some breaking in. I want some fucking burglars. I've done a serial killer movie. Did Manhunter, basically the Silence of the Lambs movie. So I want some serial killer shit in there. And it's all in Miami Vice. I want the cops. I want these cool cops.
The White Album.
Yeah, it's everything he's ever done in one movie, and this is me. This is everything. This is the best I can do. These are all my ideas. And he like recycles stuff too. Just like in Collateral, he's recycling a lot of these same ideas too.
Well, and all of it works together other than the serial killer stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody ever, like, he has the scene with the woman, and we have another scene with Al Pacino who's, like, has to leave his wife again to check out the David Waingro is.
Yeah,
if you cut that out, it wouldn't make the movie
wouldn't
worse
make the
to me.
movie any. It inflates it a bit.
It would save you 10 minutes or whatever it is.
But Waingro becomes kind of more of a villain. You know, he becomes the villain because I think otherwise it's like who's the bad guy in the movie? You know, Macaulay is not really. De Niro's not a bad guy.
Well, and this is me also. I mean, we spent a lot of time last week talking about A New Leaf and how horrible it is that Weapon Master wanted to kill one woman. Well, okay, how many people does Robert De Niro get killed?
Well, he didn't want to kill anybody. He wouldn't have killed anybody.
But when you're doing a robbery with violent people,
but you gotta get. You boxed me in.
I'm talking about the beginning. The three security guards died.
That was only because of Waingro, though.
No, you're working with violent, aggressive people and doing very violent acts.
They were
and best case scenario, those guys have hearing loss for the rest of their lives.
Sure.
Like I was bleeding out of his ears.
It's still a crime. They're still criminals. I mean, they're bad people.
What a hero. I get that we do a lot of work to make sure that we understand he's stealing from the rich, right? We get a lot of, I'm stealing from rich.
Yeah, this is the bank's money. Your money's insured.
We get a lot of that so we don't have to be asking conflicted.
Which is just, that's not an all-time bank robbery line. Like, just use that forever. Like, this is the bank's money. It's not your money. Your money's insured. Don't do anything. We're not here for your money. Fucking great, right?
That's fine.
No, that comes from this movie. That's from Heat.
I don't have a problem with that. No, the line works. It still think like, okay, if something goes wrong, you're gonna have to kill somebody.
Sure, you gotta be prepared. Yeah.
And so I don't look at him like, what a hero. He doesn't want a 9-to-5 job. I get that we look at 9-to-5 jobs this day in the movie because nobody has one other than the cop works all the time. The cook dies. He's treated like shit. He's trying to make his life better, but he's got the crappy boss who exploits him, and he's untolerable. But I don't look like, I could rob banks instead and be really rich and live in the Bahamas or wherever. I don't know which. Oh, New Zealand? That's where it's going to go. New Zealand?
Yep, I think some island off of the coast of New Zealand. Yeah.
But the movie's incredibly shot. I don't love all the music. There's a really jazzy number where he's falling in love with what's-her-face. They're looking out on L.A.
Yeah. Right.
It's so cheesy.
It's a little cheesy. Yeah.
That's like this 90s.
Well, that's the same. The romantic stuff, the relationship stuff with Pacino and De Niro, both of them, isn't. I mean, the movie's too long. It doesn't need to have all that in there. You could really cut it down and make it tight. You don't need the Waingro serial killer stuff in there. It doesn't really do a whole lot.
It doesn't do anything in the plot.
I love it just because I love this movie and I want to just spend more time with it.
But, you love it. You want to spend more time in that space.
But I agree. I think those are valid criticisms. Sure.
It's like it just doesn't. It doesn't. Nobody's ever like, oh, we didn't get a line like, oh, this guy was also the serial killer. And then there's some interesting complexity there. Like the cops are working with the serial killer and protecting him. Like there's something interesting though, but it just doesn't ever coalesce or tie in with it. But it's immaculately shot. I love the way it looks. I mean, there's not a single bad shot in the movie.
The armored car robbery.
That's the first one, right?
That's the way that basically the opening of the movie. He steals the ambulance, but then it just like cuts to the next day where the crew is getting together. He picks up Waingro.
No, it comes in hot and works
amazing, right? And like I said, The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan has been open about this. Said I basically stole that idea, put it in The Dark Knight. He even used the same actor. The guy that plays Van Zant is the bank manager in The Dark Knight. Yeah, I mean,
your friends are dead.
Yeah. He literally just.
You know who you're stealing from?
Yeah,
that guy. So sure, no, it's great. Again, there's not a single shot that looks bad.
And then
it's just incredible.
Also, the bank heist, the way that the guns are used, the way they shoot back at the police. I can't think of a more. I don't even know if it's real. Real is not the right way because it doesn't feel real.
No, but they end up walking away with all those cops. So I know they have really powerful, awesome guns.
I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto is basically ripped off everything from this movie. All the storylines in Grand Theft Auto are from this movie. But like again, I don't know if it sounds real. All the guns sound like they're really shooting each other, and the way the bullets hit just feels real. But it's in such a cool way. Like there's something so amazingly cool about the gunfight that I could watch it over and over and over again. It's amazing. It's suspenseful. they're running down the street and just like shooting at each other. It's just crazy. Tom Sizemore picks up a little kid.
I was like, what was his plan there?
Bonkers.
Yeah, I didn't understand. And where's her parents?
Well, it's like a field trip. There's a bunch of kids. They're like walking through that courtyard. There's a whole bunch of kids, and he just grabs one, and it's crazy. I mean, what a vile thing
I don't
to
think
do.
they're great guys, because they could have just gotten arrested and
No, but
had a
I
bunch of
think
innocent
that's
people die.
what Michael Mann. The criminals are bad. Like they're bad people. You know, he's not, and they don't get away with it really.
And Al Pacino's problem is that he's just a shitty husband.
Yeah, he's just too obsessed with his job. Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't have any like serious problem. It's a movie that you often criticize me for like going with the flow. A lot of people love this movie. I mean, a lot of people love this movie. So in looking at how I was going to watch this movie, it was on YouTube. I thought, well, it's got to be really shitty quality. So I started playing it. And then I started
Like
playing.
1080. Is it free on YouTube?
Yeah.
Huh.
Somebody put
Well,
it
LA
on there.
Takedown's free on YouTube, so.
And I looked at it and I was like, this is actually really good quality. And I was watching YouTube, and then like all the comments said this is amazing. Best movie. So sad, so incredible. Best movie of the last 15 years. I mean, just that was really huge of stuff. And obviously, if you're watching it, you probably love it. And you're not watching it, you know. But there's a lot of praise for it. It was.
Yeah, I think in that
It doesn't
way
work for me
it
as well as it
maybe
works for other
is
people.
overrated. I think
I'm
that's
not even
fair.
saying that. I'm just saying it doesn't work for me. I'm not even saying it's overrated. But the overrated is an overrated way of describing things. It's very tedious and lazy. Who's doing the rating? How was the rating? This is a personal Eric Lane movie for you. That's great. And I love people being
If you had
excited
me
about
pick
movies.
the 5 greatest movies ever made, it would not crack the
I
top.
understand, yeah. And my fifth pick is I think it's going to surprise you. It's not a movie that's probably on very few people's top 5 lists. But it's about you. That's great. It's cool. I like you being excited about movies. I like anybody being excited about movies.
Do you like Michael Mann's movies?
I'm sure, but it's not those. There's some directors that kind of are always making very similar movies. I mean, I love Manhunter. I haven't seen Collateral. I haven't seen Miami Vice. Thief is when I started, and then it went away from HBO Max.
Thief is a lot like this. I mean,
but it's a lot of like dudes getting involved in crime, and usually there's shootouts and people die as a result of their criminal choices. I don't think I like Michael Mann as much as other people do.
but he's made like Ali. I mean, he's done
I've
other
not seen
things. Like he's made other types of movies. I mean, that's like a sports movie. It's a boxing movie. You know, he's got some.
What else has he got?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Other than that, he's really kind of stuck to this genre. What was the Black Hat? Did you see the Hemsworth movie? See, that's the other thing is like
that's a Michael Mann movie.
Yeah, the book, he throws that shit in there. There's like the hacker buying, like, you know, stolen sort of online equipment, dark web shit like that's all. It's just funny that he has his like things. And all of his movies or stories have their things.
I mean, Hitchcock has a lot of similar themes. I mean, it's fine. Like that's not problematically heavily, but yeah, I don't think crime is as interesting or cool as he does.
Can you think? So what I thought was kind of interesting, and I know I've been talking about this a lot, but with like LA Takedown, and maybe you don't even know or have never seen it, but like,
I haven't seen it.
If you think of another filmmaker who basically made a movie and then went on and did other stuff and got more money, and then went back and just like remade that movie. So it's not like a reboot. It's like he rebooted his own movie. Like I can't think what the one example I had was, which isn't a great example, but a Guy Ritchie with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and then Snatch. Snatch is different than Lock, Stock, but it's very similar. It's got a lot of the similar sort of beats to it. But I couldn't think of another example of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not common, but I think there's probably people like they make a smaller one with no budget, a very little budget, and then they get famous enough and get enough. And like, I can just redo this movie nobody saw. This movie nobody saw. Like, you probably could say, hey, nobody saw LA Takedown. I'm going to do this, but like with great actors, I'm going to spruce up this script and have an actual budget, and it's going to look better and it's going to be better.
I'm going to get De Niro and Pacino.
I mean, there's probably other versions of that kind of story. I don't think it's probably that uncommon. Like if you're,
I can't think of another one. I've thought about it,
but I feel like vaguely I've heard stories about like somebody makes, they're like a pilot or they make like.
Well, I was thinking like, have you ever seen Pi? Darren Aronofsky's movie.
Yeah.
It'd be like if now all of a sudden he made Pi again, and with a big budget and big name actor, and Daniel Day-Lewis and Darian Pie. It was like, oh, that's crazy. Basically remade it. So The Insider, you ever seen that?
Oh, no,
fucking amazing movie about
I've heard
tobacco
nothing but good
industry.
things about it, so, yeah,
Last of the Mohicans is Michael Mann. Dude's got range. He's made a bunch of different kinds of movies.
Oh, I didn't know what Last of the Mohicans was in.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of. That's another part of why I love this movie so much. He's one of my favorite. Like, you put a Michael Mann movie on, I'm definitely gonna enjoy it, at least a little bit.
If I want to get you to come over and say, hey, look, I'm putting Michael Mann movie, like, whoa.
Absolutely. To be honest, I don't know if I've seen all of Manhunter. It's one, and you can't. I mean, you can find it, you can rent it, I think. Or The Keep, which is his first movie. It's like kind of like a sci-fi movie. I've never seen that because we talked, I think, on one pod about like Tangerine Dream, their rights to. They did a lot of his scores, and some of those movies you can't find because of the rights issues. So.
Oh, we talked about my context of the vampire movie Near Dark.
Near Dark, yeah.
Okay.
So like Thief is a Tangerine Dream score, and I think so is The Key. But anyways, Michael Mann's awesome, amazing filmmaker.
Yeah, man. One of the things what you want from one of your favorite movies, movies you love, then movies you want to watch again and again and again. We talked about
Yes.
seeing that when you were younger, and then like I've been keep watching it. That's when you actually get something more out of it, and you have fun and you enjoy it. Those are the other movies that are on your favorite list probably like that. My movies, with a couple of exceptions, are movies I'm like I want to watch again and again and again. They're movies that I watched and they stick with me a really, really long time in my head. They just my brain loose and they just go. And they just mess around, and then I still. And even if I don't want to keep watching it, keep thinking about the movie all the time. And there's just something for my brain, on top of being entertained and engaged in the front end. And those are the kind of movies that can just linger with me long after I watch it. They'll randomly come into my head out of the blue, like several months after I watch it. Those movies are about.
Yeah, this isn't the most thought-provoking movie.
It's fun to watch as a movie. Like, I can go to your house for some days and have fun watching it and laugh at the ridiculous Al Pacino. Yeah. The craziness of him yelling at the guy about the new wave, postmodern, whatever. But you can't watch my TV.
You can plow my wife.
Right.
Well, that was like Borat. Sorry.
My wife. Very nice. How much? Oh,
my wife. But you can't watch my TV.
Yep. And see the cool visual effects. I'm sure that.
You know what I just realized?
What?
The guy. Wow, holy shit. The guy that's fucking his wife is the guy that plays Waingro in LA Takedown. Same dude.
Oh, so probably here.
Yeah.
Here's a role for you. You're great actor, but you're
that's funny.
The spot.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be this confused guy on the couch who gets yelled up.
And the guy that plays one of his cops, he gets killed in the bank shootout. He's Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Obviously not Michael Mann.
He's definitely Buffalo Bill. I noticed that guy, and it's weird him being another person.
Yeah.
Because he do such a good job.
Yeah, that guy.
Or he just this is doing kind of stuff. Yeah, for me, it doesn't resonate on that level. It's, which again, I really, it's about your love of Heat and what it means to you, not about me. I also already know what some of your comments about some of my favorites are going to be. So I'm also trying to set the stage, but those are the two things, and then just a couple of minor things. I have one movie, but this is a movie I think about. I'm not gonna this is really change the way I think about.
Okay, we're back.
I will say one of the things that this is one of the things I love in the movies is strategy wars. Two characters.
The cop shit. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the back and forth, the figuring stuff out, the cat and mouse. Something I liked in Bullet that you didn't like because it was too boring for you, but like the back and forth, the figuring stuff out as two people make moves. That stuff is really compelling. I always love like a strategical chess match in a movie. That's cool shit for my brain. Like when they go to the shipping yard or whatever with the containers, and then you get all the cops to come out, and then they get made by Robert De Niro.
We could take them now. He's like, what? You got it from breaking and entering? They do 2 months. They'd be out
Right.
Out of county.
Can't get it out, and there's this one little clanging sound that triggers Robert De Niro's spidey sense. But even then, when like he gets the cops to follow him, and the cops are trying to figure out what their heist is going to be, and then they go, and then the cops don't get out. They're like, "Why would they be trying to rob this place? What's that's an oil refinery?
Yeah.
What's payroll?" And then Al Pacino figures it out, like, "Oh, we just got punked.
We just got
Okay.
made.
Yeah. Hey, yeah."
LAPD.
And that back and forth is really, really good. And I also, so all that stuff is really, really fun to me. All the logistics and some of the setting stuff, like, where do you find this stuff? Oh, people just beam it out. Just going to pull it in, like early internet stuff. By just pulling in information out of the sky and then selling it to Robert De Niro. Good stuff.
Tom Sizemore, the action is the juice. It's fucking
Sure.
awesome.
Oh, it's
For
fine.
me,
The side
man,
characters
the
don't
action
do as
is the
much for me.
juice.
And you mentioned Val Kilmer. I mean, he has very few scenes and like his wife's mad at him because he's doing way
Yeah,
too much.
I don't love that whole storyline. And then, she's sleeping with Hank Azaria, and De Niro's got to clean that up. Like, it's just that.
Very aggressively.
Yeah.
And she's got a point. I mean, they robbed an armored car and you only had $8,000 to take home. That's a pretty poor return on your investment. Like $8,000, even in 1995, that doesn't really feel like all that much money. But she loves him.
But
and
has
down.
De Niro ever been great with a woman? Like, in terms of chemistry, like, does it ever seem like realistic with there's something weird about him with women. It just never works well. It never feels convincing. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you're with me that it's not super convincing his relationship. With,
Well, I think it's so cold. He's such a cold, like even in Casino, where he's supposed to be like deeply in love with Sharon Stone. There's just like this coldness about it. I don't know. It's odd. It does feel a little weird. It's Amy Brennan.
I don't know him from anything else.
She's been in a bunch of stuff.
I believe you. I just don't know what they are.
I mean, she's good, and she's convincing as this like sort of lonely person in LA.
But she can't get a date.
Just has a hard time meeting people. I guess I could relate to that. You move to a big city, and no, I can understand. I can empathize with the character she's portraying.
That's fine.
But
I don't know what the age difference is. I don't know how old it is.
Well, I actually looked it up because I was like,
she's like mid 20s and he's like in his 40s.
So they're both in their 50s at this movie. Both
what?
De Niro and Pacino are in their 50s.
Oh, sure. I meant the
No,
woman.
she's probably in her 30s then. I don't think there's that. I mean, I don't think she's in her 20s. But I didn't look up her age. I just looked up De Niro and Pacino because I was like, how old are they in this movie? Because it just seemed weird. It's like they look for guys in their 50s. They do not look like dudes in their 50s. So
they didn't look like dudes in their 30s. Okay.
I would have guessed mid early 40s for both of them in this movie, but I was close to 10 years off.
Okay.
It's also interesting that De Niro dies in this movie. Spoiler alert. Like, I can't think of another movie where he dies, and I wonder, like, with the discussion of getting both of those guys to be in this movie, is De Niro like, I'm not going to die in this movie. I'm not going to do that.
But she's like 30. So she's 64.
20 years apart, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still kind of weird. Like, I'm so desperate to go for this other man. Again, it's not crucial. Yeah, I don't have any good Robert De Niro movies where he's like in love and it's like it feels like you're actually being in love.
Well, we've done Raging Bull and his relationships with women in that movie.
Is that that might be the best, and that's like damning the same praise.
It feels real, I guess, in that way.
It feels creepy. Yeah. It's not like actually.
Oh, it's we've talked about.
People have Al Pacino, by the way. Before I forget, I always think of him in Serpico. He's great in Serpico.
Dog Day Afternoon. He's amazing. I mean, he's an amazing. Yeah. He's one of. Both of these guys are like two of the greatest actors ever.
I don't think of him in Heat because to me he's already like he's going off the rails. He's not at his best anymore. His peak is behind him by a good 10, 15 years. Al Pacino. Robert De Niro's lasted longer, I think. I try because you think this is a great Al Pacino film. I disagree. That's fine. Other than Heat, would you go Scent of a Woman? And was that a great?
I don't think I think that is a caricature of Al Pacino.
It is. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's already said. So then, what would you say is the last great Al Pacino movie other than Heat? Can you think of one?
Well, and you mentioned Devil's Advocate. I think again that's the same thing. He's just like
and this isn't as bad as other ones too.
Probably Scarface. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
In Carlito's Way, he's fucking awesome.
Oh, right. Well, that might be the last great Al Pacino performance. Is Carlito's Way.
I love him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's got a really small part in that movie.
Well, that's fine. Sure, that's good casting.
Gina.
Sure, and he hits the part well out of the park. But I wouldn't say a small role in a movie, when you're 75 peaked. But okay. So you like Val Kilmer. I don't get the Val Kilmer love. No, I don't think he's bad. Val Kilmer sucks in this movie. He's just the small side character who has very few lines. He has one fight with his wife early on, and then he's gonna go see his wife, and his wife lets him know that the cops are there, and then he asks about a place to eat and leaves. I don't know. I feel with most of the side characters, I just don't know them well enough.
Well, does this movie need to be 4 hours long? Like, if we spent more time with the crew, like.
That's true. I mean, I would cut other stuff out. If Ben was being a ruthless producer, he would want more stuff out of that. But it's fine. This is part of the charm. It's just how filled to the brink this movie is with stuff.
I did hear somewhere that the shooting in the street, the way that Val Kilmer did it, because apparently he trained like crazy to be able to hold the gun the way he's like shooting one way and turning the other way and reloading is like the best in the like Navy SEALs have watched it and like that's the best we've ever seen an actor pull off, like using a gun and the way he's holding it, the way he's scanning the area and how he's shooting. So in that I think that's pretty impressive.
That sequence is great. I mean, I don't have a problem with the situation evolving from like, they're about to get away and they're smiling to shooting sees the cops and starts.
There's something about like modern movies, and maybe this is just like crazy, like terrible of me, but like when innocent people get hit in shootouts, like it just doesn't happen in movies anymore. And there's just something so jarring about that like.
Well, this movie's kind of nonchalant about it. It happens when we run quickly.
Right, but like Pulp Fiction does that too. There's a couple scenes in Pulp Fiction where just like random bystanders.
That has a lot of impact. That woman that gets shot.
Yeah.
That one has a lot of impact. It feels very intense and horrifying to me. That one in Pulp Fiction, the woman who's just like walking around and gets shot.
But there's just something like Marvel movies are not having random people get hit by bullets.
Well, they're trying to appeal to everybody. They want to be able to get 13-year-olds in the theater. This is a rated R movie.
Even though Superman knocks on a building, there's thousands of people that die.
Right? It's
if we really think of like
there's no actual
Sokovia getting crushed, there's thousands of people dying, right? Like
yeah. Right, yeah, it doesn't worry about that stuff. They don't care. It was impactful, but we also knew what passed it. I guess it would have been impactful, but we don't spend time wrestling with the consequences of that. None of them reflect on it. And so with, I don't know, what's his name? He's in a bunch of stuff.
Danny Trejo?
Oh, there we go, Danny Trejo. He got attacked by Wayne Grove?
Yeah, so his whole storyline's a little unclear. So he gets pinched, right? So the cops are onto him. So he's like, I can't join you guys.
I got that. Yeah, I understood that part. Yep.
And then Wayne Grove goes to his house and kills him because De Niro thinks he's the one that ratted them out.
Right. Right. Okay. And his wife, who we don't ever meet, and he's sad about, gets killed.
That was a part of the movie I was always really confused about. I was like, why is De Niro?
Why did Wayne Grove do that? Wasn't Wayne
just to get revenge? Yeah.
But Wayne Grove's also being watched by the cops.
Well,
why is he under police protection?
Because he knows he gives them up. It's a deal. He's like, I'll tell you where.
But he does that after he kills Danny Trejo's character?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
He kills him when he goes to the cops?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, the cops don't know that he killed Danny Trejo and his wife.
Right. So yeah.
And they don't know he killed the sex worker lady either. I think he just cuts a deal. He's like, hey, I worked with these. I'll give you what they're after if in exchange for protection, because they'll come get me, and they agree.
Okay.
So he tells them, hey, they're going to rob this bank. They get the facts at the very last second and then go foil the plot. And then Macaulay finds out he's the one that ratted him out through Trejo.
Okay. So I don't think you need to ask what your rating for this movie is, but what other nice things do you want to say or highlight about this movie that you would love for it?
It's just so entertaining. It's absolutely entertaining. It's one of the greatest action movies ever made. Love it. I don't really have anything else it's 5 stars, yeah, for me.
Sure.
It's a perfect entertaining. There are definitely valid criticisms of it. I'm not saying it's like beyond, any sort of criticism. I'll hear it. Most of it I'll probably agree, but I still love it. I still think it's great.
Right.
So what's your rating?
I'm not going to give a rating. It's not me.
You're not going to... You got to give a rating.
4 out of 5.
Is that an honest rating?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not kissing your ass. Oh, 4 out of 5. That's what I think. It's too long. I'm not quite as invested in the characters. It's a good time. It's super immaculately shot. Al Pacino's too much.
Is it Michael Mann's best movie in your opinion?
I like Manhunter better. Maybe it's his best. If we use the best versus favorite, maybe it's his best in quotes that I've seen. It's not my favorite. I like Manhunter more.
Because Manhunter is basically the Red Dragon movie, right? It's how they catch Hannibal Lecter, right?
Correct.
It's so better than Red Dragon.
No, that's incorrect. Hannibal Lecter is already a prisoner, I'm pretty sure, in Manhunter.
Okay, so it's Silence of the Lambs.
But it's a different plot, but similar in that he uses him to try to go up the serial killer.
Which that is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, but it's not the same characters. It's not Jodie Foster. It's a man. It might be.
Where does it fall? I just don't remember. Is Silence of the Lambs then a sequel, or is it a remake?
I just think it's totally its own thing. It's what I think, but I don't remember.
Because Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal is a direct sequel to Silence of the Lambs, and Red Dragon is a direct sequel to Hannibal. Like those 3 movies are in the same universe, same characters, same. Clarice isn't in any of the other ones, but
yeah. Well, Clarice is in Hannibal. It's played by Julianne Moore.
No, it's not her, is it? I think they reference Clarice. I don't think she is Clarice.
Oh, then
maybe I'm wrong about that.
My whole life.
But in Red Dragon, what's his face plays the same cop from
Clarice Starling. It's Clarice Starling.
Okay,
yeah.
so Jodie Foster is just not in it. It's just played by.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Julianne Moore. It's the same character, and then Red Dragon is.
He plays the same guy. So Red Dragon's a sequel to Manhunter, basically. Because I remember in Red Dragon, he's talking about how he caught it. He caught Hannibal. Michael Mann has a very specific view on like the way people talk to each other and act towards each other that isn't totally tethered in reality, I don't think. Yeah, okay. Well, I love it. All right, 5 Degrees of Field of Dreams. I got it up if you want me to go first here. All right, so Tom Sizemore, the action is the juice. Pretty great in this movie. What has happened? Is he dead? Is he still alive? That guy was in so many great movies. And then just the dude's in Saving Private Ryan. Anyways, which is my next movie, Saving Private Ryan. Dennis Farina's in Saving Private Ryan. He's also in Manhunter. I think he's in Thief as well. He's in a bunch of Michael Mann movies. Manhunter also stars Brian Cox, as we talked about. Brian Cox is in a movie called For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner, and Costner's in Field of Dreams.
Didn't talk about Henry Rollins' brief appearance in Heat. I like Black Flag. I like Henry Rollins. I don't think Henry Rollins is a great actor. I just want to confess that.
Well, that whole storyline too. So they steal the bearer bonds, which is a funny thing. What is a bearer bond? I don't know. Anyways, they steal it from Van Zandt, and then the plan is to then sell it back to him, which is kind of fun because they'll get the insurance money. He's like, hey, we're 100% of the dollar. You get it back. Everybody's fine. And then he betrays him and sends Henry Rollins in to kill him, basically.
Well, yeah. Well, Henry Rollins just pays a couple of cronies.
The goons in to get him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that sequence a lot, actually. The exchange gone wrong.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the layout. I like Val Kilmer there.
The sniper on the roof. Yeah, it's cool. Like when they pull up, the bird's eye view and the van or whatever car's parked kind of off to the side. Yeah, that's a cool shot.
No, the whole sequence. I loved all of that. Henry Rollins, not a great actor, but he's in another movie also. A movie I like that I don't think is great is Johnny Mnemonic. Have you seen Johnny Mnemonic?
I've definitely seen Johnny Mnemonic, yeah.
I like Johnny Mnemonic's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie and I like it a lot.
Keanu Reeves is the star. Yeah.
He's in that along with a guy named Dolph Lundgren. I don't even remember who Dolph Lundgren plays in the movie.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's in it. Dolph Lundgren, he is the star of Masters of the Universe. You ever see the He-Man movie?
I have not seen that. I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's really bad. It blew me away as a kid, and then at some point I realized this movie is actually terrible, but it's really bad. I mean, they shoot most of it in like L.A. But anyway, I remember being blown away that they had a Masters of the Universe movie. Frank Langella, though, he plays Skeletor in that movie. Fully in makeup, but Frank Langella is in Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
Okay, well, that's it for Heat. So now we're going on to Ben's number 5 favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the year. No, I'm not always gonna give you the year.
Yeah, Ben's gonna give 5 clues or whatever, a bunch of clues to reveal what his number 5 favorite movie of all time is.
Yep. So I'm gonna start with. I'm not always gonna give you the year. We'll go to a couple of times. Some of the movies different. Okay. I don't think we're gonna have the 11. I'm gonna start with 1991.
91. So, not to digress here, but in doing this, I've put together a list of my 5 favorite movies. I had a lot of movies from the 90s, and that just maybe says a lot about me and when I fell in love with movies or whatever.
Right,
but
that's exactly what it is. Like music and stuff, like stuff that resonates when you're at a certain age. That's the way that movies can't so easily when you're adult. So I think that's very, very common.
So 91 is Ben's number 5 favorite movie of all time. Okay.
Part of it, let's go through, part of it was shot in the state of Alaska.
Let's see, so Fargo is later. Not Fargo. I don't know. I don't have it yet. Alaska 91.
Christian Slater has framed $750 check he got for his work.
It's not it's not Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood, Prince Thief?
So if you really want to do something, framed with the relatively small amount of money he got for painting.
Jeez, 91 Christian Slater. So that's not Pump Up the Volume, is it? No, that's later, or that's earlier than this. The 91. What was Christian Slater doing in the 90s? All right, I don't know. Go to the next clue. Nicholas Myers? Jeez. '91 Christian Slater, Alaska, and Nicholas Myers. And this is your number 5 favorite movie of all time. So, is it a Star Trek movie? Wrath of Khan is earlier, right? So we're talking way later. Is the Generations? Is it Star Trek Generations?
Generations.
The last movie of the West.
but Leonard Nimoy wrote it.
There's no story
Is
back
he
there.
also in it?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know Star Trek at all, so this will be interesting. So your number 5 favorite movie of all time is Star Trek
I spent a lot of
6.
time thinking about it. I said, well, I love it. I think about it. It resonates for me on a lot of levels. It speaks to me. There's a lot of reasons why I loved it when I was a kid, and there's other reasons why I still love it. And I think, yeah, I'm going to make it my fifth favorite movie of all time. I mean,
Question though, do I need to hurry up and watch the first 5 Star Treks to have this make any
No.
sense to me?
I'd love to tell you yes and force you to try to watch.
Well,
all 6 Star Trek
I've
movies.
seen the first one. That to me is like an instant nap. If you put that movie on, I will fall
It is
asleep.
not boring. It is, so the first one is
I will
like a
fall
2001
asleep.
knockup. This is much more action than that.
I've seen the Wrath of Khan. Seen the Wrath of Khan. That one's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Typically, people say that's their favorite two wrestling. It's the most accessible. It's just a big fun blockbuster chess match. I love that movie, but it's not my favorite.
So we're skipping then 4 more and
You
going to
don't
number
need to see the
6.
Search for Spock. You don't need to see the Voyage Home. You don't need to see the Final Frontier. I don't think you're going to be confused.
So is this is Shatner?
It's the whole original.
His
crew.
whole
It's William
original
Shatner.
crew. Okay. It is like Patrick Stewart also in this?
No, that's Generations.
Okay,
Generations
that's
is like
see. I actually think I saw Generations in the theater. So
okay. I mean, it's not Generations.
Okay.
None of the Next Generation crews in this movie. At all.
TOS, the original series, is that TOS? Okay.
TOS is the 60s series. Started making movies.
1979. That really boring one came out in 1979, and then they made a series of movies all the way through 1991
Okay.
before the next set of movies was the Next Generation crew with William Shatner making a big
Where he's like
appearance in
riding a horse
Generations.
and stuff like that. Isn't that?
What?
Isn't he like riding a horse on a ranch or something?
Well, he's stuck in the Nexus,
Yeah.
Eric, which gives you everything you want.
He's in Iowa, right? Basically.
No, it's like an imaginary ribbon.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. You don't care. Generations is not my favorite. There's a couple of cool ideas in it, but it's not great.
So Star Trek 6 is what we're watching.
The Undiscovered Country.
Undiscovered Country. Ben's number 5 favorite movie of all time.
If you're telling me to be honest and not care about what other people
let's
think,
do it. Let's do it.
and just talk about a movie that I love immensely, and not worry about how it's perceived, I think Star Trek 6 and Undiscovered Country.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.